Hello and welcome to my channel, Judy's Creations in Crochet. And today is July the 20th, 2023. I'm so happy you stopped by to spend a little time with me. Whether you're a newcomer or one of my regular viewers, I enjoy having you all. And I see that my number of viewers has increased, as has my number of subscribers. And I would love if you would please leave a comment after you've watched this video. Every little thing you do, the thumbs up, the comments, watching the video right to the end, all these things help to get our videos out there in YouTube land so more people find us. And today we're going to be talking mostly about yarn. We're going to see lots of yarn. So if that's your thing, if you like to see yarn, then you need to stick around because I have a lot of yarn, and I'm talking hand-dyed yarn because that is generally my focus, is the hand-dyed yarn. I'm just going to mention what I'm wearing. I've been a little lax lately in wearing something in the video, and that was one of my main goals when I started, was to always be wearing something crocheted. Well, since we are doing Christmas in July, which will be my very next thing, I thought I'll wear something Christmassy. So this is I'm going to think that it is EFA, and people have been asking, what is EFA? EFA is the way I tell you about Expression Fiber Arts, a major yarn company in the US. This looks and feels like pearlescent fingering. It has that silky feeling, so that's what I have to guess it is. And it's simply a long, narrow, very narrow scarf with a very open pattern, and I don't know what pattern. I would have made this quite a while ago. It is, oh, you know what? I think it might be Mowgli's pattern called the altered, I'll look it up. I think it's called the altered diagonal scarf, altered scarf. She has two. One is a long narrow scarf, and the other I think is a triangular scarf. I think I know what it is now, and I will look it up and post it down below. It's just long and narrow. You can make it whatever length, and you can make it whatever width you want. I've simply folded it in half and done this with it. And a nice way to wear these long, narrow scarves. I do have another finished object, in fact, two finished objects I will show you later in the video. But I wanted to get to our Christmas in July that we are working through this month. So I'm going to get right to it. I think I told you that I was short a couple of the bags that my friend put these in, so I can see what two of them are already. That's unfortunate, but not a problem really. So we ended last week at the 13th. Today is the 14th. Oh, a nice brown solid. I like the mixture of solids and variegated, so I'll put it on. I meant to start by showing you what we have so far. Then we will post this next to the last one, which it goes well with. Then we get 15. Another nice solid or tonal blue. I love blues, as you know, so very nice. 60. There are some very, very pretty colors in this set. Now that looks mostly red, peppermint stripe kind of thing. Nice. Now 17 does not have a bag, so I'm just going to pick up one of the two that we have here, and yeah. And we have another solid. This is a solid green, which will go nice next to that red we just looked at. And then 18. Oh, nice. Nice. That's a few purples. Nice variegated. Yep. I've been looking at a number of patterns lately that are done in two tones, but they say that this, you can use the master color, and then the second color that goes with it could be done in a variety of minis. I might be using some of these. Here's number 19. There are some really nice colors in this collection. Oh, I always like a good black as a nice contrast color. And finally, oops, this does not want a pin. And finally, we get to number 20, and there is no number 20 bag. And so we have another brown, but this brown is variegated. I've had another variegated that was lighter, along with a solid brown and this, so that's nice. There have been a nice number of neutrals in this, along with the pretty Christmassy colors. So here's what we have so far. I don't know if I'll be able to get all 25 on the screen next week, but aren't those lovely colors? I mean, they're nice, solid colors, and the variegateds, they aren't wishy-washy. They're nice and saturated. So, see my purples, purple and purple. A very nice set so far. I have to say I'm very happy with this set. My only disappointment is that they are 10 grams instead of 20 grams, but that's okay. They'll still make something quite nice. So I'm going to set that out of the way. All right. So we have one more week. This set does go all the way to 25. So we will have 5 more to see next week to finish up our last week of July. We will have 5 more mini skeins to look at. So I hope you've been enjoying seeing those. They are lovely colors. So I think it is time I get started on what my purpose was today. I was asked once if I could make a list of Canadian dyers. First of all, let me back up. First of all, I have always maintained that you see lots of other creators do unboxings and show you yarn hauls of yarn they get from the big box stores. And that includes yarns like Lion Brand and Premier. I mean, they can be found in the stores in the US. A lot of people order from them online. And I use Lion Brand yarns, and I use Karen yarns and lots of others for certain things. But my focus, what really got me into doing YouTube, was showing finished objects, especially finished objects made with what I call luxury yarns or hand-dyed yarns, hand-dyed or gradient cakes. And that is what I really love. As you can see by this wall of yarn behind me, those are all hand-dyed. In fact, those are all from Expression Fiber Arts. And so my focus has been hand-dyed yarns throughout all of my time here on YouTube. Now, I think I mentioned a little bit ago, last spring, I decided to put my focus on Canadian hand dyers for two reasons. One, the exchange rate has gotten very high. It was over 40% at one point. It has backed off a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what it is at the moment. It has backed off a bit, but the exchange rate is high. So when I'm buying something for $30, it's actually $42 over here. Shipping is more from the US than Canada, not a whole lot more in most cases, so that doesn't put me off. But what puts me off is in shipping it internationally. Now that COVID is over, it's more likely to be stopped at customs, depending on how you ship it. I will not take anything that is shipped priority like UPS, FedEx, or even DHL from the US. If it's shipped USPS, I have a 50-50 chance. Almost always when it comes from EFA, it isn't stopped. But when it comes from other companies, it does get stopped. So just to save myself a little money, I am buying solely, not completely, I shouldn't say that. Because I do get my Arkansas sock and every once in a while something else. But I am shipping mainly, I'm buying mainly Canadian. Why not? I'm Canadian, and why not put a focus on Canadian dyers? Although I will do an episode with US yarn later. But I was asked, well, who do you buy from? Who are the dyers that you like? I could simply make a list of names, but you wouldn't know one from the other. And I thought that, you know, it might be nice if I spent an episode showing yarn from the Canadian dyers, not all, but the Canadian dyers I've bought from, and showing you a sample of what I have got from them, telling you my reaction to the yarn and comparing one company to another. You've seen all this yarn before if you've been with me for any length of time, but you know, a lot of you are new and you would have forgotten, and this way you get kind of a comparison from dyer to dyer. So I got a sample of yarn from every Canadian dyer I have bought from so far. I want to tell you there are a lot of Canadian dyers, a lot more than I thought, and I'm going to post a link in the description box of two companies that have actually produced a list of Canadian dyers. One was sent to me by one of my viewers, you know who you are, and the other one I happened to find in my own browsing online. And these are quite extensive lists, so I will put a link to those pages for you. There are a lot that are the same on both pages. They are websites that list Canadian dyers. But just before I start to show you all this yarn, I'm going to put a picture up here in just a second that shows you the table of all of the yarn I'm going to try to show you today. So here it is. So I'm taking just a minute to bring this table up closer to me. I will probably have to get up and move out of the frame occasionally to get at the end of the table, but I have most of it within arm's reach. So that is quite a collection of yarn. So it's randomly, they're just there, no particular order, and I will comment as I go. Some of them I've only ordered from once, and in a lot of cases I haven't even used their yarn, so I'm only giving you my reaction to the yarn because I haven't worked with it. So here is the first thing I want to show you. It's one of the mini collections I have, and I believe I might have ordered one or two other skeins from this company, but my main focus was this mini set, and this is called Hidden Ponds Yarn. Now these are mini skeins. They are sock base, they call it their squishy sock base, 80% merino and 20% nylon. They are 20 grams, 87 yards each. Now I'm not going to take the whole set out. I think that's a good look at it. A really nice set of colors. And being that there are 10, that's 870 yards. Oh, that would make just a beautiful sized shawl. So I'll either make a regular shawl or an asymmetrical shawl scarf. I will take one out at the end just to tell you that it does have a very nice feel. It's coming apart because it barely fits in that bag. This is a nice feeling one, and it does have a twist to it, but the twist, see, I'm one of these people that likes what seems like to be one ply. It's often called roving. Pearlescent fingering and worsted is a roving yarn, one ply. Because when they do a twist, sometimes I'm not really excited about the feel of the yarn. It's you can really feel the twist, there's texture to it. But this one, although there are two I can see twisted together, you don't feel the texture. So for me, that's a bonus. This feels nice. I would put it on the positive side of average. So that's that set. Now, this is a set, by the way, when I know it, sometimes it's written on the label, sometimes I just remember. I will tell you at least what province they come from, or even more specifically the city if I know it. But I don't remember all of them, and I didn't go and look them up. Now, this is a set. If you remember, I said I went to visit my brother, and on the way I stopped in this little wee town. It has only one little main street, no stoplight that I recall. And this woman had a yarn shop, which was geared more to knitting in her house, down in her third level, like I have a third level. And she had some beautiful yarn there. And I bought this when I was at her place. And the company is called Zen. And when I researched it online, it seemed to be a company in Sarnia, which is only an hour from me here in Ontario. But it also seemed to be coming from Port Huron, which is in Michigan. I couldn't really figure out what was going on there. I haven't ordered any more from them. But I have to tell you, this particular set feels heavenly. It's called a gradient set, and it is 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% silk. So, of course, it feels wonderful. And the set as a whole has 550 yards in it. 550 yards of a fingering weight. It's called Blue Hawaii. The colors are gorgeous. And I'm thinking that I may make some kind of scarf, maybe infinity scarf. Yeah, that would be nice. A wide infinity scarf or a very wide cowl. Something that will be close to your skin, because that feels really nice. But I have to tell you, I'm not sure I will order from them again, just because it looked quite confusing to me. But maybe one day when I really need some yarn, I'll check it out. But this feels heavenly. But of course it has cashmere and silk in it, so it's on the very high side of average in how it feels. Very scarfable. Okay, another company I have told you about in the past, and I should have brought out some of their other yarn, but it is called Vegan Yarn, and it's in British Columbia, maybe even Vancouver. And Vegan Yarn is what it says. She only uses what are considered vegan fibers, like cotton and bamboo and sea cell. She's in New Westminster, British Columbia, which is right on the coast, west coast. Now, she has a couple that are silky, and I did show them in the past, and they are lovely. But I happened to bring out these two because right now it's summer, and they both are organic cotton and rayon from bamboo. They are fingering weight, and I don't see the yardage. Oh, here it is. 402 meters, or 440 yards. So here's the first one. You can see that's the base name, Vegan Yarn. Really nice color. When it comes to softness, for cotton, it is soft. I like my merino nylon, merino silk, merino cashmere better, but it is a nice feel. I'm going to say average. And here's the other one I got. Again, Vegan Yarn, exact same base. That one was called Pandemonium, and this one is called Sea Goddess. And in fact, I bought Sea Goddess in the silk one as well. Was it silk and bamboo or silk and sea cell, something like that? Very pretty color. Very comfortable to wear. Not as nice as the last one I had, but still nice, pleasant. If you don't want wool at all, any kinds of wool, this would be a company for you. About customer service, I can't say a lot about customer service for any of these because I've had no reason to deal with them unless I was asking a question about something on their site, which happens rarely. This next one is called Sassy Strings Yarn Studio. Sassy Strings. I don't know why I think they're either in, I'm not going to say why say it and be wrong. Oh, I did write it down. Here it is. They are in Alberta. Sassy Strings. And these are both the same vanilla cupcake. So white with lots of colorful speckling in it. It is 70% superwash merino, 75%, sorry, and 25% nylon. It has 463 yards in it. Feels average. Nothing wrong with it. You could wear it next to your skin. I think I got it because I didn't really have whites or specklies. I've got a lot more now with our Arkansas sock. So haven't used it. I will probably combine this with something else, not by itself. Next, we have Nerds with Needles. I don't know why I have so many out here. I got two of the same. Nerds with Needles. Here is their label. Nerds with Needles. This is their Elven Magic base. And it is 80-20 merino nylon. And it has only 357 yards, a little less than most. A pretty blue. I have a couple of blues. Then I have Spunky Punky. Oh, maybe these are the actual colors. Very pretty. Again, it's an average feeling yarn. Oh, I didn't have so many after all. Those are other things. Average feeling. The twist isn't too unbearable for me. There, I'll show you a little later today a twist that I don't care for. Anyway, next I have some yarn from Sweet Georgia. I guess I only have the one. What's this? Oh, there's another. Sweet Georgia. Sweet Georgia, I showed you not real long, I think back in the spring. Now, I have two that I like. Sweet Georgia is in, I'm pretty sure they're in Vancouver, BC. They have quite a website. They do educational things. You can sign up and get into their school type thing and take various classes and learn a fair bit. She does knitting, some crochet. She's really into knitting machines and looms, big on looms, a lot of other things. Now, the reason you may remember me commenting about them is I bought these two yarns, which of course, my color, but I also bought something they called BFL Silk Fine. And I'm not really partial to BFL yarns. They usually feel a little scratchy, but I thought because it was BFL and Silk Fine that it would have a nice silky feel, or at least a pleasanter feel than most BFL. And you'll recall that I got two of those and I was very disappointed because they did not feel nice at all. No hint of feeling silky. So just keep that in mind. If you ever order from them, you probably don't want BFL. So this one, of course, I really like. This is called Cash Luxe Spark. I think you can see the sparkle in it. So that is definitely my kind of yarn. And the makeup of this is, I know there's cashmere in it. Oh, here it is. It's 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% stellina. So this feels very nice. And by the way, I don't feel the stellina at all. And I know some people have problems with it, but there are yarns when you can feel the metallic or the stellina. It's very obvious. And others where the stellina is right in it. And if you picked it up, you wouldn't know there was stellina in it. This is one of them. This is worth getting, this particular base. And the other one I got, both of these, by the way, are, oh no, this is called Empress. And this was called Velvet Elvis. I don't know what purple has to do with Elvis. I'd call it Velvet Donnie, but... and this one is 70 merino, 20 cashmere, and 10 nylon. And again, worth the price to put cashmere in it because it feels quite nice. By the way, they have 420 yards. Now, this is on the plus side. Excuse me. Tickling my throat. Feels really nice, but it has cashmere in it. Okay, next we have one here. I have two here. that are from a company called WN Yarns, just WN Yarns. And I'm not sure if I got this online or happened across them. They have a site, wnyarns.ca, but I think I went to it and it wasn't working. They are also on Instagram and Facebook, WN Yarns, WN Yarns on Facebook, and maybe that would be the place to look for them. This is 75%, 75 merino, 25 sock, 4 ply. Again, the ply are nice and soft wound. It seems a little thinner or finer than some fingering weights. It feels nice. It has 423 meters, which is 463 yards, so a wee bit bigger than some, and it feels nice. Of course, I love the color. It does feel nice, so I would put it just slightly above average. And here's another one of theirs. I think it was the color I wanted. This is, what was that one called? Did you notice? Oh, that's called Nightshade, and this one is called the Stone Age. And I have a note on this one, so I must have looked them up. They are not selling right at the moment, as far as I can tell, but they were in Mississauga, which is, well, it's a city on its own now, but it's like a suburb, a prelude to Toronto. It's on the outskirts of Toronto. And I really, really love the colors. I'm drawn to fall colors as well. And again, it feels nice. Average to slightly above. Okay, this next one I have a few from, but I don't know a lot about them. I bought this because I wanted to have a basic black in my stash. It's called the Wool and Frog, the Woolen Frog, and they are in Alberta. It's really surprising when you look at the list, which are divided by provinces, that British Columbia and Alberta have a large number of hand dyers. And what can I tell you about this? It's fingering weight. It's an 85-15 blend of sock. And they don't tell me. Oh, yes, 400 meters. That's your standard size. And it feels nice. It has the twist in it, but again, not really defined. Again, sort of an average sock feeling, and they're all very pleasant. Maybe it's slightly above average. Now, this next one I showed you just last week or the week before. Hard to read. Rose Hill yarns. Nice colors. I got it for the colors, and they are they were in the Toronto area, as I recall, and average feeling. And that's about all I can tell you. The colors are double chocolate and reindeer game. Oh, I can tell you that it's no, I can't. 463. Oh yeah, 75-25 is the mix. Feels like most sock yarns. I would just call it average. Now, I have quite a bit of plain with string. Oh, sorry. No, that's not plain with string. I guess I only have, oh, these two. I get these two mixed up all the time. Plain with string. I know I got them online at Etsy. I believe they are in Quebec somewhere. These are their sock yarns. One is plain and one is the glitter sock. I'll show it to you better in a minute. This has 384 meters, 420 yards, and it is an 80-20 mix of sock of merino and nylon. Again, it has a twist in it, but not a twist that I can feel. So it feels nice. Playing with string. I'm almost positive you can find them on Etsy. And feels maybe just a bit nicer than average. And this is the glitter. Can you see the glitter? There it is. I saw it and then it disappeared. You can definitely see it down here in the brown. See the glitter? And I really, again, it was the colors that drew me. And I don't feel that glitter at all. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same as the other one. And it's called Fall Rainbow. Fall Rainbow. Okay. It is the Fall Rainbow. Again, it feels just average to normal. Now, this next company, I can tell you a little bit more about it. I have ordered from this company several times. She's on Etsy, and it is called, I'll start with this one. It is called Playing with String. No, the last one was Playing with String. I tell you, I always mix them up. I have no idea why that is. This is called The Color of My Fibers, and you'll notice in French, but she puts it in both French and English. There's the French, but down here you see The Color of My Fibers. She is on Etsy, and that's a clue to the fact that she's in Quebec. I think she's fairly close to Montreal, but I won't swear to it. Now, the reason I bought from her many times is twofold. First of all, shipping is really reasonable. Second of all, she has a wide variety of bases, and I wanted to see all of her different bases. Now, this one, first of all, I want to tell you, it's a little plumper than the last two or three that I've shown you. Still has a twist in it, but not a twist that you're going to feel. And this one is superwash. It's 80% superwash, 20% nylon. It just looks a little plumper than those others. And I have to tell you, it feels just a teeny bit, not a lot, just a teeny bit better. A little squishier. Maybe because it's not wound as tight. I have to be honest, I don't know. Beautiful color. And I think I've ordered maybe 3 times from her, and I keep an eye on her with the color changes. And this has, it doesn't say how much is in it. Oh yeah, 320 meters. So it is a little bit shorter, a little less yardage than others. 320 means it has about 350 yards. So that is a smaller hank. But I have a couple others of hers here as well. Because she has a lot of different bases. I bought a tweed from her that I particularly have a CJ pattern for. I have bought mini hanks from her. Now, one set only. I was disappointed because the tweed was rougher than I expected and the colors were not as I expected from the picture. And you probably remember me showing you that and talking about it. I was disappointed. I'll be honest, I did have one disappointment with her, but everything else has been wonderful. Now, here is, can you see it? Here's one of her sparkle bases, and I think the color is gorgeous. And this one is 80% superwash, 10 cashmere, and 10 stellina. So yes, it is going to feel a little better because it has cashmere in it. But I think it's also a very beautiful shades of greens. All on its own, this will make a lovely something. And again, I must have been wrong on that other, because this one says 390. and it's handwritten. I bet you that other one was 390 as well, which would put it over 400 yards. But you can see how many different bases she has. And one of them is with 17 micron superwash. The micron of the merino makes a big difference in the feel, and the smaller the number, the softer it is. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So that's a stellina. Feels nice, has some cashmere in it though, so that's why. Here's another very different one from her, and I got this one because of the base, and it has bamboo and merino in it. I don't see that it has the percentage, but it doesn't really matter. It's a fingering, 390 meters. Yeah, that other one was 390 as well. Bamboo merino. Now this, I can get it, is a little bit, maybe a wee bit finer. Being pink, it might be a little harder to see. There is a twist in it, but again, you don't feel it. And bamboo is one of those things that often feels silky. It feels very, very similar to this one, which had some cashmere in it. So very nice. Anything I've ordered from her, other than that one episode with the minis, everything I've ordered from her has been lovely. And this is called Raspberry. I actually have I have two of them. I thought I had a sweater quantity, but I guess not. I have two of them, so I can make something larger. I just think it's really beautiful. Okay, next. Let's go Okanagan. I think I only have one out here from them. Okanagan Dye Works is in Vernon, BC. Okanagan would make you think BC in the mountains. And this is about average. And it has, it's an 80-20 mix, 425 yards. It's called Garlic Scape. Not too sure how that comes about, but it's a beautiful color. And I do know I have others from them. I only got one out. My table was pretty full, and I see the time, and I still have a lot more to show you. So I'm going to speed up a little bit. Not a lot I can say. It is probably what I consider average feeling for a merino nylon base. Then I go to a company. I only have one of theirs out here, called Subculture. I'd forgotten I ordered from them. I do not know where they are located. I forget, but I believe it's out west. And this is a merino. Oh, this is 100% superwash merino. And it feels just as nice as the other ones. Pretty. Okay, so that's Subculture, and I seem to recall they had unusual colors. Next, I showed you this not too long ago, and so I won't spend much time on it. This is Dragonfly Fibre Studio. Again, they are, I believe, in the West. They might have been in Saskatchewan. Anyhow, I ordered from them a number of the sock sets, you will recall, because I'm going to do that pattern again that uses a full skein and then has trim in a mini skein. At least I'm planning on that. Who knows what will happen in the future, but that is sort of my plan, that will be the glacier pattern. Next, I have some from Riverside Studio. Again, I've forgotten where they are. Riverside Studio. What makes me think they're up in the, maybe the Montreal area, Quebec somewhere? Oh yeah, they're in Wakefield, Quebec, says right here on the label. This is one, I like the colors. And it is, that's one thing. I really wish all dyers would put the makeup of, there's the ways you can find them. I found them on Etsy, and there's all their contact information if you want a screenshot. I really wish they would all put what the makeup is. I'm thinking it's a merino nylon blend, and it certainly feels nice. This next one doesn't feel the same, and in fact even the yarn itself looks different, so I know these two are not the same. Maybe this has cashmere in it and this one doesn't. Maybe one is 100% superwash and the other doesn't. So that's now on their site, when you're buying it, you know what you're buying, but we don't all write it down and put it on the labels or keep our invoices handy. So when you go to use it, sometimes you really want to know what the makeup is of it. This one you can see a twist in it. This one you don't. See the difference in the look of the fiber? Although the twist is not rough, it feels nice. In fact, this feels quite nice. This is average feeling. Now I bought I bought from this lady who was on Etsy, and she's left Etsy and set up her own website. And I used the hank of this, and I made, I combined it with a plain brown, and I made a big, heavier asymmetrical triangle. This is Donegal. That has to have Donegal in it, or nebs, something nebs, to get the tweed look. And I really like this tweed look. So there's the name. I'm not even going to try to say it. But she used to be called, I think, Fiber Art when I bought her on Etsy. Now this is 85% superwash, 15 nylon. But it must be a Donegal base. Anyhow, it feels nice, sort of average. Oh, here's the second one from Dragonfly. And I have to tell you, this one, the other one felt good. Here is the Dragonfly. This one felt good. This one doesn't. But it's 75 merino, 25 nylon. Isn't that interesting? And this says the same thing. But one, you can see the twist. The other, I guess you can see it, but it's not as noticeable. I don't know if it's the colors that make a difference, but they don't feel the same to me. This one, I have no idea. I don't remember ordering it. I can't tell you much about it, but it's called Yarn Indulgence. I'm sure I must have got it on Etsy. It's Canadian, but it doesn't say where. Now, that's something I do appreciate, is when the companies put at least their province, if not the city and province, on their label. That is a really helpful thing. Where this came from, I don't know. It is 70% merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon, so you know it's going to feel a little better, but not a lot better than average. I mean, it is better than average, but you really wouldn't know that that had cashmere in it, because I felt plain merino nylon blends that felt as good as that one. Okay, these you saw not too long ago from Polka Dot Creek, and I have ordered from Polka Dot Creek more than once. I found some really old ones from Polka Dot Creek. In fact, I'm using one right now. I'll show you in my whip. So these two from Polka Dot Creek are 75-25. This is a full skein here. That is 463 yards. Oh no, I think it's 463 with the extra 2. And then the sock sets. I'm not sure what I'll do with them. Next, we have something from Tangled Poets. Now, Tangled Poets is the hand dyer associated with Aberdeen wool. I'm sure a number of you have heard of Aberdeen wool. Even some of the U.S. Creators order from Aberdeen Wool because she has what they call the pickle jar with all of the mini skeins in them. They also do an advent. I bought their advent calendar for this coming Christmas, so you'll see more of their yarn. I do have one of their mini bags. I bought a special 25 minis in a bag, and this is one of their full skeins. They are, I had some interchange with them about the advent calendar. They listened to what I had to say and brought out a second advent calendar. This is an 80-20 mix, and it feels average to slightly better than average. I need to get moving along here. This is Crafty That Way. I do have a full skein, I believe, from them, but mainly I ordered from them because I wanted these mini skeins, and I actually ordered 2 so that I have enough to make a full shawl in these colors, because there's 460 yards in this collection of minis, and it is an 80-20 mix. And again, it feels maybe a little better than average. They are on Etsy, I'm pretty sure. Oh, there's their website, craftythatway.ca, but I think I got them on Etsy. And feel nice. And you know, I'm really enjoying minis. Okay, the next one I want to say a little bit more about. I'm using one of their yarns, or have just used, and that's called the Green Button Jar. And that has to do with, you know, the old antique green jars and saving buttons. She is in Windsor, Ontario, which is right across the border from Detroit, Michigan. And I found her on Etsy, and I have ordered from her a couple of times. I've gotten some nice yarns from her. I did use one of hers. It was called the Bluebird something. It was blues with navies with pinks in it, and I wore the item I made. And so this, I of course support her because she's very local to me. This yarn feels, again, average to slightly better, and it is a, where's the composition of it? 80-20 sock. Feels, again, average to slightly better than average. But I also bought from her one of these. The zebra stripe got to be quite popular, and I bought a number of them and haven't done anything with them yet. I'm still figuring out what to do. And this is a DK weight, and it's 100% superwash merino with 246 yards, which is generous for DK. And I have to tell you, it feels quite nice. It being DK, of course, it's thicker, it's plumper, and maybe that's why it feels better than some of the others. But I am going to be doing something with these zebras sometime soon. So the Green Button Jar, she's on Etsy, and I quite like anything I have gotten from her. And I got compliments on the one that had the navy with the pinks and other splashes of color. Now, Smash Knits is a well-known company in Canada. I think they're out west as well. They don't put on here where they're from. I have ordered from them more than once, and I believe I was going to order their Advent, but I don't remember if I did now or not. I think it was Smash Knits that put out this. I got one very special Advent calendar that I'm going to save until the time comes. These are super sock with 85-15 merino nylon with 430, same as always. You know, this one feels just, oh, this one feels softer than this one. I think sometimes the color, the dye makes a difference. Normal weight, and again, this one feels slightly better. This one even better than this, than average. Okay. we're getting near the end of my pile. Next we have Fireweed, and I'm not going to go into Fireweed a lot. I really, when I got my order from them, I had this, I had another skein, and then I had several that were metallic or had stellina in them, and I absolutely loved the order. It all felt wonderful. This says that it is 80 merino, 10 cashmere, and 10 nylon, and I have to tell you, this feels really, really nice. But again, it has a bit of cashmere in it, and it has 398 meters, so it's about 430 yards. Pretty colors. I think it was, or shipping was really, really reasonable, if not cheap, free. And oh, here it is, hand dyed in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Why can't they all put that one line on there? Winnipeg, Manitoba. Manitoba is the next province to Ontario going west. And it feels really great. And I was super happy with that order. If you recall, I went on and on about it when I received it. Okay, we're getting to the end of the table. I only have, I think, 3 more to do. No, 4 more. Okay, the next is Sweet Paprika, and it is from Montreal. For some reason, I knew that and wrote that. This is 100% merino. This one is, oh, I can't pronounce it. 100%, or 80 merino, 20 nylon. I think I bought these to compare the yarns, and this is 100% Norbule wool. I'll show you the word. I'll get my girlfriend in here to tell me how to pronounce it. First of all, that's supposed to be, I understand, a Canadian lamb, Canadian brand of yarn or wool. I can't tell you I like it. This is less than soft. It's not scratchy, it's just not particularly comfortable. So when I use this, I will probably put a strand of kid silk or mohair with it, because this does not feel nice. The one with, this is Superwash Merino Blueface Leicester, BFL. So it's 80 BFL and 20 nylon. Now, I'm not always partial BFL, but maybe with the nylon in it, it doesn't feel too bad. It has 407 yards. This is better than the last one, but again, nothing special. And then finally, this one is 100% merino, and this one feels the way I want it to feel. I'd say about average in the feel. Pretty color. All right, enough of that. And now we're going over to my last few, and I got my favorites here at the end. Well, I do like Fireweed. I am going to put Fireweed in my top. Next we have the Yarn and the Bees, and they are in Fort Erie, Ontario. Now, Fort Erie would be up in the Niagara Falls area on the Canadian side, of course. And I got another zebra here, and this is 80 merino, 20 nylon, 400 yards. And this feels a little better than some. It looks a little bit plumper. Average to a little better than average. And then I have a second one from them. I think I got these to go together. And this one is called their Cash Sock Fingering. So it's 80 merino and 10 cashmere, 10 nylon. This is nice and plump. The yarn is plump. See, it's thicker than the others I've showed you, but it's still a sock fingering. And it feels a little better than average. It has the yarn itself is squishy feeling. So I do like them. I think I might, at this point, put them up in my top 5 as well. I only have 4 here to say that are in my top 5. The other one that I got recently is Arcane. Arcane Fibre Works. And I'm trying to remember if they were in Saskatchewan or Alberta. It is a man that dyes this. And this is 80%, 80-20 merino nylon. And this is not, oh, you can still see the ply in it, but it feels better than most of the ones that I've been showing you. Arcane Fibre Works. There's their, and he was really pleasant to deal with. I had to email him with a couple of questions, and he is on Instagram and Facebook. He does a video on Facebook showing the latest new color, and then he shows you different ones you can put together. I think that is really nice and helpful. So I'm thinking that if you wanted to, say, use this and wanted a couple of other to go with it, he would show you variegated and he would show you solids that go together. So those feel nice, and I think I would rate it in my top 5. I think I might rate this my second for feel. And it definitely, he has some unusual, unique colors. And finally, we get to, and you know that this is my favorite company. I've been dealing with them for a while, and that is Ravenswood. Put this right side up. Ravenswood Fibre Company. I think you can get them on Etsy. I go to their website. I get their weekly, actually it's bi-weekly now, newsletter, and she tells you the newest colors. And first of all, I think they have a yarn that is plumper than most. It is definitely one of the softer ones, I feel. And I know this is it 80-20 or 85-15? But what I do know, because she mentions this, I think, on her site, I have these two to go together. I think I've shown you them before. I'm going to do something with the two colors. She uses what is called a 19.5 micron merino yarn, and has explained that, and I've read this somewhere else too, the smaller the number in the micron, the softer it is. And that's why I always find hers so soft. And here's another one that has come loose from the twist, and hopefully you can see the fullness of the fiber. And I have used her yarn for 2 or 3 different things. I have a lot of her yarn. This feels so cushy, so plump, that I just want to sit in the box of yarn. It is so nice. And I have a lot of her yarn, and I'm going to make a sweater out of a couple of them. And finally, I have this one, which is the Stellina. And you would never know there was, oh darn, it's coming apart. You would never know there was Stellina in it when you pick it up. You can't feel it at all. So I feel really bad for those that say, oh, I don't like the feel of Stellina. Obviously, you've not felt some of the nicer brands of yarn, because I don't feel Stellina in there. And this is soft and squishy, and I have a sweater quantity of this that I'm really looking forward to making. And this is 75% merino, 25% nylon, although there's going to be some percentage given over to the Stellina. So that takes us to the end of my yarns to show you, and that has taken a long time. I hope you enjoyed seeing those yarns. As I said, I will put a master list, or the the link to the web pages that tell you the different different companies in Canada, way more than I have. I will list the names, I think, of these companies so you might remember them when you're looking at the master list. I will not be looking up everyone's website and putting a link. I'm just going to give you their names. I told you what I feel about them, how they feel, and if I had any problems with any of them. So I'm going to leave that for now. I will do another episode maybe in August sometime about US dyers, and I will try to make it shorter than this one. Sorry it is so long, but I had that much yarn. Now I have one last thing I want to talk about, and that is a whip. Very quickly, I will show you the whip, and this is also going to show you what I mean about texture. This is a yarn with the texture in it, and the texture is very, very noticeable. You can feel, like when I run my fingers along, I don't feel stellina, but I do feel the texture of the twisted yarn. It's not smooth feeling. It is, for lack of a better word, a little bit bumpy. I can just feel the twists. But I'm using this yarn in this whip, and that's all I'm going to say about it for now, to show you. I just started it. I'm really excited about it, and it'll be a finished object next week. I've just got to where I'm putting the two together, but this has 4 colors in it. First time I've done something like this, and I'm pretty excited about how it's going to turn out. I also wanted to give you an update, and it'll be a fast update on Just Feel Festive. I decided I would work on only one until I finished it, and then I would do the other. So I'm working on the one with alpaca, and I got this far on it on the weekend. So I'm not quite halfway, I guess. And this coming weekend, I'm going to try and finish it. So I'll have that finished object for next week. And then I will go on to working on the other version with the minis. And I hope you're checking out the Ravelry page, because there is some chatter going on there. So I hope you're looking there and participating and showing us your update. I will post a picture of my update later today. So that's it for this week. Next week, I'm going to do a review of an EFA yarn. So until we meet again, happy hooking.